is on learning how to use variables with ratios of this lesson, and I think that you will enjoy it. So we have a sum of money that's shared among 3 people. One last time, if I'm going to make a bar model for this problem, who and what's this problem about? Who and what is this problem about? Please?
John, Mary, and Peter.
And what about them?
And money.
Okay. So we've got John's share of money, Mary's share of money, and Peter's share of money. And I'm going to draw a bar model for the last time here. How many units would I give to John and why? Julian?
You would give John 2 units.
Because?
It says 2, 3, 7, because it's in the ratio of that, so John came first and first.
Okay. And he's got 2 parts to their 3 and 7. How many units do I make for Mary now, Jeff? 3. And for Peter, yes? Sorry. Okay. So this is what the model would normally look like, and how we tie this to algebra is we say, okay, instead of making this model, because I can picture this in my head, if this is making sense to me, we're going to let x equal the unit multiplier, or the unit value. I'll call it the unit multiplier. It's however much each unit is worth. If x is the value of each unit, what would be an expression for John's share of the money? What would be an expression for John's share?
2x.
2x would be John's share. And this is how you need to do your homework tonight. Not the bar model, but the algebra and the let statements. What would be an expression for Mary's share? Callie?
3x.
Good. And Mason, what would be an expression for Peter's share? He was yawning when he said 7x. Okay. Now, when we wrote let statements in the past, you guys are starting to get good at that. You don't need to put let in front of each of these. Some of you do that. You just need to put it one. Let x equal the unit multiplier, the value of each unit, and then the expressions for the other people we write a let statement for. Now, we can write an equation because there's some information given in this problem. What equation, before you simplify it at all, what equation could go with this problem? Reading the whole thing again if you need to. What's a good equation? Margaret? How did you get 12x? You added all of their shares together. So actually, before it's simplified, you could write 2x plus 3x plus 7x equals 192. Because it says the sum of their money is $192. So that's the equation that matches the ratio. Margaret simplified it right away. It said 12x equals 192. I would like you to write the unsimplified equation like this first. That way I know what you were thinking, because in some of them you might not actually supposed to be adding them all together. Maybe you should be subtracting 2 of them, or whatever the case of the problem may be. If you write the unsimplified version first, I know what you were thinking, okay? Then we solve for x. When we solve for x, what do we do and what do we get? What do we do to solve for it, Tony?
You and 2 divided by 12 can be doing 12x.
Okay, and when you do 192 divided by 12? Okay, we'll let him finish. You can verify if he gets it correct.
Is it? It's not 6. It's 7. 16.
16 is right. That means each unit is worth 16. Each unit is worth 16. So then we come back up here to our let statements, and we evaluate them knowing that x is 16. John's share would be 2 times 16, Mary's share would be 3 times 16, and Peter's share would be 7 times 16.
That's easy.
Tis.
Until you have to put a bunch of.
2 times 16 is
32.
3 times 16.
48.
Oh, okay.
7 times.
Why not 12?
Good.
Number 12. We're done.
Alright, you do need to answer these problems in complete sentences. Here's kind of a nice way to do it. If you want, you can say, John and Peter's shares are $32, $48, and $112 respectively, and that means in that order. So if you don't want to write it out with a sentence for each, you can do it that way.
John gets.
Any questions about the problem? Tony?
Is it gonna be
That's the algebra, and that's what you're gonna do, yep.
no, but like more. But I'm always like, oh, this is easy, and then you're like, oh, and now we're gonna add algebra, and I'm like, oh, now it's hard.
This is algebra, and it's easy, right?
It is.
All right.
Until you put more algebra in there.
Calm down.
Like before you know it, it's gonna be like 2y, 16 is gonna be the y, and then 3 is gonna be the t here.
No, it's not gonna be fixing. All right. Then we've got the other problem, Larry, Curly, and Mo, and space. Okay. All right, so this time we're not even going to go to the bar model. Thank goodness, right? Because look at all those units. We don't want to have to draw that. So we start out with the same thing. We're going to let x equal that unit multiplier. It's the value of each unit. And then you can define each, in this case, person's share of the profits, right? So Ethan will. What would be an expression for Larry's share?
40x.
What's that?
40x. I mean 14x.
14x is Larry's share of the profits. What would be an expression for Curly's share? Yes?
16x.
Good. And what about Mo, Leah? All right. So we've defined all of the quantities. Now we should be able to write an equation. Be careful. Every problem is not the same. Problem is different than the last one.
I know what you have to do.
What do you think you would put for the equation for this one? Jack?
14x equals 525,
How come?
because that's how much Larry earned.
Yeah, be careful. This is just Larry earned this. So Larry's expression is 14x. So 14x equals 192. Good job, Jack. A lot of kids will just right away do 14x plus 16x equals 16. Oh, 525, sorry. Not
Think
192.
back to the last time. Is Larry the long one?
Curly's the one who.
Back to the
No,
algebra.
Curly's the one who's bald.
Back to algebra.
Yeah.
You are muddling my recordings. Please be
I'd
quiet.
rather do algebra than talking about the Stooges.
Okay. Be careful on the equations, because it could be all different kinds of things I asked you. What if I asked you for an expression, an algebraic expression, for the difference between Mo's share and Larry's share? What would be an expression for the difference between Mo and Larry? Lena? Mo and Larry.
Oh, 15x minus 14.
Very good. 15x minus 14x. What would be an expression for the sum of their money? What would be an expression for the sum of their money? How'd you get that? 14x plus 16x plus 15x. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 45.
Okay, so be careful and read carefully. Now we solve. How do we solve this? What do we do to solve it? Yes?
525.
Good. Did you already divide, Margaret? Okay.
I got it.
Divide.
Mason.
What'd you get, Mason?
17.5.
What are
Oh,
You just want to double check your division, I believe.
What do you
Why
mean?
am I taking this
What do you
thing?
mean? I just took my calculator.
Gee, you could be mean.
No, 37.5 is what I meant.
Jeez.
Right, I agree with that. 37.5 pesos. The important thing here is not for you to assume that a unit is always a whole number. Right? So we can have a partial number as a unit. So then you go back up here and you can fill in, well, then we know that Curly's share must be 16 times that. And Mo's share is 15 times that. And you have to do the math for both of those, so go ahead and take a second and, okay, the last thing you always have to do is write a sentence for this, so be careful, look at what it's asked for, and Rita, what would be a good sentence here?
Curly and Mo got 600 pesos and 562.5 pesos respectively.
Okay. Okay, so make sure you are careful about reading what it's asked for. You are required to write your let statements, your equation, and solve to give me an answer in a sentence today. I think you shall enjoy
I
it.
won.